we're back to talk about episodes 4, 5, and 6.
We're back in the night
of the new season of BoJack.
Hooray!
Yay!
All right.
Episode 4, I think, might be the funniest episode of all of BoJack.
Of all of BoJack?
I honestly might think so. I find this episode to be so funny.
This episode is really funny. I think this is a funny episode.
I think previously I would have given that title to the game show episode, Let's Find Out.
Yeah.
Season 2, 3? 2 or 3.
It was 2 because Wanda's in season 2.
You're right. It was 2.
Wait. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say previously that was my, funniest episode. But this one is just so funny.
I don't know what I would have thought would be my funniest episode, honestly. I feel like I don't have like a funniest episode. There's bits and pieces.
Yeah.
That I think are hilarious.
Right. Yeah.
And and I always tell you, like, I always repeat some of my favorite. What it is, banana bread.
Yeah, as far as just like laughing out loud at this episode, like I think that BoJack, I don't laugh out loud all the time at it, but I don't know, like this episode, I was watching it in the room with my parents who were not watching it. Like I was just watching it on my laptop and they were like being quiet and I was just like stifling my laughter because I was just like, oh my god, this is so funny.
I kept pausing this episode to look at the background, actually.
Oh yeah, there's so much going on in it, but
yeah.
Anyway, so this is the one where they're having a party at Mr. Peanut Butter and Pickle's house, and they have a big fight, and everyone hides in case you don't remember what that is.
Yeah, and just, I think what's the funniest is just obviously the characters, like, hiding around in the background and stuff, and, like, the idea that Mr. Peanut Butter and Pickles, like, they're so, like, into themselves and into what's happening with themselves that they don't even notice their surroundings, which is very in character for both of them.
Right, and then they start shit-talking all of their friends and family, which is so funny.
It is funny.
And seeing their reactions to it.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell everyone because I'm a Gemini.
Yeah, there's just lots of really good lines with that, and I love that, like the guy Greg that's there, and he like Mr. Peanut Butter just met him at like a gas station. He's like, don't even get me started on Greg, the guy I met at the gas station.
And Greg's like crying. I like how like a lot of the characters, like obviously Captain Peanut Butter is there and his wife, but there's like the donkey lady from the
best thing that ever happened. Yeah,
the moose from
Moose
Todd's Rock
from the Rock Opera, the meerkat from my all-time favorite joke from BoJack, which I don't know if I can explain the whole thing, but it's like the cats in the cradle joke.
Yeah, he used to be Mr. Peanut Butter's agent.
Yeah,
right?
he's Mr. Peanut Butter's agent. Yeah,
he was his agent until Princess Carolyn became his manager.
Pretty early on. Yeah, so there's a lot of background characters in this popping up. That's really funny.
I'm gonna listen to it now. No, don't listen to it. It'll make too much sense now.
It's too relevant now.
It's cats in the cradle, but don't listen to it. That is a good joke.
That was like, that's pretty early on. Well, it's decent.
It's
season 2?
It's either early season 2 or late season 1.
Maybe early season 2, because I feel like that was when I think I sent that. Like, I think I sent a video of that to you.
I think you did.
Before you had watched BoJack.
I explained that joke to everybody because it takes like 5 minutes for me to explain it, but it's extremely funny.
It's very funny.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interactions between BoJack and Diane in this episode.
I really love the interactions between BoJack and Diane because this is the first time they've interacted since BoJack's gone to rehab, like in person, I think. Yeah. Because they've been sending letters and they've been talking on the phone, but I think this is the first face-to-face. And it's very, like, you can feel like sort of a relief from BoJack where he feels... it definitely is just like friendship, and it's just like you can obviously show that they care about each other still. Yeah, it's really nice just
how their relationship has evolved, and like to see that they're in a really good place and that they're not too like dependent on each other, that they can be okay with moving in different cities. I like that,
and I like because I think I've been noticing there's a lot of lines that like either directly parallel or do a throwback to a previous interaction. It's specifically like seems like ones where BoJack's on the other end. So like Diane says like, I need to know you're gonna be okay. I need to hear you say it. That made me think of towards the end of season 1 when BoJack's like, I need you to tell me I'm a good person. I need to hear you say it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that one's directly intentional, but
yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I do too. And I think it really shows how, like, again, they're not so dependent on each other, but, like, Diane is like, I need to know that you're going to be okay. I need to know if I leave and something happens to you, I can't be blaming myself. But BoJack's like, that's not a friendship. That's a hostage situation, which I think really shows his growth.
I really like that.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But yeah, so I don't know. I really love their interactions this season. Also, just like little things like BoJack being excited for Diane, kind of like, oh, who's this guy?
Yeah.
Just like kind of teasing her. It was nice. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, and then just the like, you know how in AA they give you chips and then but no salsa?
Using that. Yeah.
They're so cute. They're just very much on the same page.
Yeah, and even then where he admits, he's like, I wish Diane would see this. And she like is like, I see it and it's amazing. Like she gives him that satisfaction. Like
I know.
Like and like she's like, you are growing. You're getting better. You're getting healthier. You look better. And it's like, I see it, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it's really nice because he's always really kind of needed her, like, to recognize.
Yeah, her recognition for it.
Yeah, well, that he's a good person. Like, he literally asked her, but it's been an ongoing thing, like, not just that one scene in season 1, but, like, at the end of last season when she completely dressed him down for, like, for everything after Filbert. Like, he does like want her to approve of him because I think he really like respects her and like admires her like moral compass. So to get her like approval, it's not just like a needy thing. It's like, he wants her to like recognize that.
You're right, especially with stuff like thinking back to like season 3, I think. Either season 3 or season 4 with the Oscar.
Yeah.
And how he's like, even then he like at the party, or it just makes me think of like how he like needed Diane to see his Oscar nomination. Or was that when he won and then they were like, just kidding, you didn't win?
Yeah, where he thought he thought he got nominated, but he didn't even get nominated.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And they had the Oscar nomination party, and then they got in a fight and stuff.
No, but you're right, because BoJack is like continuously like looking for Diane's approval. Because like you said, he really admires her moral compass. But I agree. I don't know. I just really like to see how they like have grown.
Yeah.
So,
there's that cute scene when they're standing outside of the window and pretending to be like Mr. Peanut Butter's smart house and giving him advice. Yeah. It's just very funny, but like very cute too, because they're trying to get him to leave, obviously, so they can escape his house, but they also like, sort of give him genuine advice, especially Diane, who like wants this relationship to succeed for him, but also kind of uses her own experience. And that's something that you brought up when we were watching it.
I kind of, because like when you look back at it, like the first scene where Mr. Peanut Butter is talking to Pickles in the bedroom, he like continuously is interrupting her, and that kind of brings in Diane's like advice, like maybe you should just listen. But then like later when he does just listen at the bonfire, it does help Pickles like get everything out, but even then she's like, don't just stand there, I'm having a conversation with you. Which kind of shows how different they are. And how Diane's advice, like, helped a little bit, but Pickles is a different person than Diane.
Yeah, she doesn't want the exact same, things as Diane wanted, obviously, because she's a very different person. Like, she enjoys the grand romantic gestures, too. So her advice isn't perfect, but it was still good advice.
Right, exactly. Like, Mr. Peanut Butter could, like, accept some of it, but, like, realize, like, Pickles is her own person. And I think that's the thing that Mr. Peanut Butter's been struggling with, like, since, like, last season when he got with Pickles, is he compares all of his, like, past girlfriends and wives to, like, how they originally are in, like, that first stage when they're younger, right?
Yeah.
So he always continuously compares them to that. That's why he's always, like, comparing Pickles to, like, Diane to, I can't remember anybody else. Jessica Biel. I can't remember.
Katrina.
Katrina, that's what it was. And, like, like, you know, Diane Brent mentions that's because they grow up and you aren't.
Yeah. But they're in their 20s. So,
right, exactly. Yeah. Mr. Peanut Butter is problematic.
He is, honestly.
He really is. The other thing is I really like this. I like episodes that, for one, I like episodes that take place in, like, one setting.
Oh yeah, I think those are like, you know, consistently one of the strongest episodes of the show is when they're really kind of, you know, centered
just focused on one plot line,
one story or one place.
Right.
Yeah.
But the other thing I really like is not only is it centered in, like, one area and one, like, plot, really, it's like it's all the main characters together.
Yes, sure.
Which I really like,
and which we don't really get that often.
Yeah.
Now at this stage when they're all kind of diverging in different directions. Like Diane's moved across the country. They're all kind of doing their own thing. So yeah, it's super nice to have the main characters in the same house,
interacting and talking and like doing these things together in this plot line. That's why I really liked.
Yeah, this episode is very sweet and just has a lot of good gags. Also, I just kept thinking about that one episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where the gang is like trapped inside a house, like they're trying to rob something, but then the family comes home and they're all like running around and trying to hide, but then it becomes increasingly obvious that the family is just so dumb and has no idea that they're there. Like they flush a toilet and they don't notice, so they're like, maybe we should just walk out of the front door. Like maybe instead of trying to sneak out, we should just literally just get up and walk out of the house like normal. And they do that and they just walk right past the family and just walk out of the house, and the family kind of looks up at them. And that reminded me of the end of this episode when they all just walk out right past Mr. Peanut Butter and Pickles, and they're just like, oh, that was weird. Like, yeah, you could have just done that. Like they're so dumb that they would just be like, oh, that's what, why were they here? What were they doing here?
The thing is, Mr. Peanut Butter and Pickles are both characters that are so self-centered. Like, not in, like, a selfish way, but sometimes in that selfish way. But they're so, like, focused on their own stuff.
Sure, yeah.
That they don't, like, the whole time this was happening, especially with, like, the first part where everyone's hiding, I was just thinking, if this was Diane in this situation, she would notice immediately.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because she's very
Yeah, you can only get this kind of, you know, comedic premise with these two characters who are pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. But,
it wouldn't work with, like, Diane and BoJack if they were...
Right, exactly, because
they're a little bit more serious.
They're not as, what's the word? Like, have tunnel vision almost.
Yeah, they're just so, like, self-absorbed.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not gonna notice their surroundings. I love the part when he picks up the frame of his brother and, like, he moves. Also, for some reason, when I was watching this, I thought that Captain Peanut Butter died.
Oh, yeah. And, like,
at the end of that episode, so I was like, wait, isn't that Mr. Peanut Butter's brother? And then I had to remember, oh, he didn't actually, he didn't die. He actually recovered from the surgery. But for a good few minutes, I was very confused.
I think I was too for, like, a split second. I was like, wait, didn't he die?
I know, I really thought he died.
One of my favorite gigs is when it cuts away, like, BoJack walks away from Captain Peanut Butter, and then the next shot he's there, and he blinks like he's dazed. He's like, how the hell did I get back in a conversation with you?
That is some real shit. It's like, how am I talking to you again?
Yeah, it's very...
I just keep wanting to leave this conversation, and I'm back in it.
I really liked, I think Todd and Ruthie is a very cute interaction, too.
Yeah, and Ruthie and all of them is really sweet.
Yeah, I really liked BoJack holding Ruthie.
Yeah.
I thought that was cute. Also, Princess Carolyn, like, just, like, like, parkouring everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, jumping off
and
everything.
her outfit?
PC,
Ooh.
get the strap. Princess Carolyn Top Me Challenge.
Yeah. Now we said it.
But now we say it. 6 seasons in.
We're not furries.
Princess Carolyn is your one, like...
That's your pass. That's
your pass.
Free pass.
No one, I don't care about anyone else. PC just gives, like, that outfit just gave... Yeah. I was like, boy, I hope this doesn't awaken anything.
No, that was a look.
It was a look.
A
look. With Ruthie on her shoulder. It's a look.
She's so cute.
The deep V-neck.
Yeah, and the green with her pink
fur.
The green
with her pink.
Very
the
nice.
Pantsuit part.
She
did that for the gays.
Oh, love her.
Thanks, PC. Became PC 11 hours.
Yeah.
Something I thought when they were like towards the end of this episode when Pickles and Peanut Butter are talking, and of course this is such a them like solution where they're like, well, maybe I have to sleep with somebody that you have an emotional connection with, and and it's like I was like, are they gonna suggest BoJack? And I don't think they are anymore.
I still love that idea that it would be like, yeah, BoJack, that makes sense.
Yeah, BoJack would be like,
he'd be like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, he'd be like, stop, Jesus Christ.
They just meet with all their mutual friends, and they're like, will you sleep with Pickles? And they're like, wait, that's why you invited me here?
Yeah, Todd is like, no.
It's like, wait, didn't you hear?
Yeah, you haven't heard?
You haven't heard?
Todd's like, oh, you haven't heard?
You haven't been paying attention to my storyline for the past 2 seasons?
Pickles and Princess Carolyn sleep together. This season better end with Pickles, like,
are they going to end up in a poly relationship?
With Joey Pogo.
Is that what the storyline is going?
Poly with Joey Pogo.
That's a no-go, bro.
Was Joey...
I wouldn't be surprised if that's where the storyline is going. Although I guess they kind of decided at the end of the season, like, oh, let's stop this. And
yeah, I kid, but I don't think.
I think it is very funny because like Mr. Peanut Butter is so not like jealous.
Oh yeah,
hot take.
That's the thing is
yeah, he this doesn't bother him at all. He's just like, yeah, sure.
Well, yeah, think about this and like and his reaction when he found out BoJack kissed Diane.
Yeah, like he was upset, but he wasn't like unreasonably like, yeah, like he was like, we can still be friends. And
yeah,
like,
but that's like, I don't know, because it's like, yeah, you're right, because it's like I don't think Mr. Peanut Butter has ever been like a super jealous person, but he clearly was like hurt with that.
Yeah,
and I think it's probably because of how he admires BoJack.
Yeah, it probably stung. Well, also he wasn't the one that, yeah, because he doesn't really care about any of these like the guys that, you know, Pickles is having sex with, and it's no one that he really knows. So
see, it's gonna be BoJack. No kidding.
Yeah, that he would be like, okay, that hurts.
Yeah.
I gotta cheat on you again now.
Yeah.
They just go back and forth forever. Maybe they're just gonna honestly, end up with an open relationship.
Honestly, that's how I would see it ending, is like them being in an open relationship, or because I don't see Pickles and Mr. Peanut Butter lasting at all.
Yeah,
I really don't.
They're like too similar. I think that's a lot.
They're too similar
of what's happening. Where you saw how kind of he balanced out with, you know, with
Diane.
With Diane more, but
I think the other thing is Pickles stunts his growth. Like his character development, I really do.
Sure. And I think that became really obvious at the end of last season 5. That like he has to stop doing this, like this pattern.
Well, even then, like at the end of the Halloween episode, when she's like, "Let's go to another party," and he's kind of taking the steps. So he's like, "How about we just go home? Let's just watch a movie." And she's like, no, we got to do this, or like I want to do this, and he goes with it, but like
I'm gonna be young forever.
Right, yeah, because it's like, and then he's like, oh, okay,
yeah, he kind of got used to having a more chill, like adult, you know, relationship, and then he jumps back in with someone who's like 25, and he's like, oh,
yeah, because I think Mr. Peanut Butter is gonna realize soon, like, oh, I'm actually pretty old.
Yeah, and he seems like he's maybe a little bit annoyed with her like social media influencer ways, like not super a lot, but like a little bit, like, hey, can you stop filming, and like I agree. Yeah, it's just not, he's actually found someone that he's maybe more mature than.
Right, exactly. And that's
which is a first.
Well, the thing is too, like in the previous relationships, like he wasn't that much older than them. He was still like he was still pretty immature then too.
Right. And they grew, and he kind of grew with them a little bit, and now he's sort of
he grew like age-wise, just like not maturity level.
Yeah, although I think he matured
a little bit with Diane. I think so. Diane. But yeah, no, I do I think Pickles really stunts his like character growth. Not in like the way that the writers aren't letting him grow, but in the way that like it's obviously an obstacle.
Yeah, it seems unlikely that they're gonna end up in like a happy relationship at the end of this.
Yeah, I don't see them lasting as a
It would not really make sense.
I know, I don't
Especially
see it
for what was kind of established about this, you know, pattern that Mr. Peanut Butter has.
I'm actually, yeah,
he has to kind of break out of that.
Right. I don't see him doing that with Pickles. I'm actually surprised by how much they've had Pickles, like, kept her as like, a character.
Yeah.
I didn't think we would talk this much for this episode.
I know,
actually.
I was kind of surprised that we went on for this long.
Yeah.
I guess, we'll go into episode 5 unless you have anything else to...
No, I like episodes that take place in, like, one setting. I like episodes that are just, like, the main cast. Like
it was
that.
very good.
It was
very
cute.
Funny.
Yeah. I like
some good chucks.
Did that give you any good chucks? So episode 5, actually, episode 5 and 6 are, I think, might be my favorites from this season.
Yeah, I really like these two and the storyline that like links them, especially with, you know, Dr. Champ.
I really love Dr. Champ as a character. I love him so much. But we'll get into that in a sec. So it opens with Mr. Peanut Butter. Everyone's like canceling him. Basically.
Mr. Peanut Butter is #canceled.
Canceled
is what he deserves.
You know, and I was just
so happy.
I was just thinking about this. This might be a little. Like a very veiled social commentary on how like he's canceled when he cheats on her, but he's not canceled that he's like in his 50s dating a 20-something-year-old.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, and like that's so like normalized,
right?
Yeah.
Well, and I was just thinking because like the thing with Keanu Reeves just recently becoming public with his girlfriend, and obviously that's a big deal because of what happened to his previous wife. But everyone's like, oh, she's like near his age, and everyone's like. They're like, I'm so proud that he's not dating a 20-something, and everyone's like, the bar is on the ground.
Yeah. Which he certainly could.
He certainly could.
Like,
but, like, it's like, it's also so commonplace where it's like, it's not, like, technically really wrong, but it's still
it's just a little bit.
It's still,
Yeah.
Especially when it's, like, someone in, like, that like, kind of power with
sets
celebrity.
A bad precedent, kind of.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And also, like, Mr. Peanut Butter had to say so many, like, sexual, like, lines this season. So in this episode, he says, fetish-based cuckolding scenario. And then last episode, he said kinky foreplay. Yeah. And I'm like, thanks, I hate it.
I don't want to know about
Mr. Peanut Butter should not know these things.
Mr. Peanut Butter should not know about sex. He does not fuck.
Even though he literally had a sex scene, like, two seasons ago.
Was it the Frack Me, Mr. Peanut Butter?
Me, Mr.
Was that his only one? I thought there was... No, they showed him and Diane having sex kind of in, like, The Affair last season.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
You're right.
I don't like to think about Mr. Peanut Butter having sex.
These furries are at it again.
As soon as I started watching this show for the very first time, I was like, okay, I think I can handle with, like, this idea of like anthropomorphic animals. I just don't want to see him fuck. And then BoJack has like sex the next scene, and I'm like, oh shit. I was like, oh, I don't want to see.
I'm
this.
like, no, just stick with it.
Yeah. You were like, no, it gets good. It gets good.
It gets
and I'm like,
really good.
I don't know, Jenny. I don't want to finish this. And you're like, gun to my head. Finish BoJack.
Watch it.
Watch the rest of BoJack, you coward.
Yeah, I think I had already watched. Like that was after season 3, so I had just finished season 3, and I was like, I need someone.
Yeah, you're right.
Talk to about this.
Yeah, you're right. It was after season 3, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it was after like the Sarah Lynn, and I just got
yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, I need someone to watch this.
Yeah, that's fair, honestly.
Yeah. So then I held you hostage. And
you did.
Was like, okay, just get through the first few episodes and then you'll get hooked.
Yeah, I can't remember what part of it I got hooked at, but it was definitely like at some point in season 1, I was like, oh, this is probably when he met with the fuck with her, probably.
The Herb episode, yeah.
I like the fuck with Herb. Like, oh, that's a very different storyline that took.
When Herb said fuck.
Herb definitely had an unrequited crush on BoJack.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's just like canon.
That's just, yeah. Anyway, so...
Yeah, he's tried to kiss him like multiple times.
Right. So this episode has like the best fucking scene ever. Just like BoJack, he's obviously not ready to leave yet, and as soon as he does, and he runs into the paparazzi, and it's like, they're giving him the fancy room, and he's like, what? I had the fancy He's like, I think
it's time for you to go. BoJack.
It's like, I heard they're breeding
you the fancy room.
And then he's like, I heard Joey Poga's coming. He's like, what? I heard Joey Poga.
I know, he's so stupid.
He's so fucking stupid.
But we love him.
I love it so much. But then BoJack like running up the hill and he's out of breath and he's trying to get this zinger out and he's Boho go bye-bye for Jojo Pogo. That's a no-go. Check this. And he like immediately passes out.
That's so good.
That's the funniest fucking shit.
It really is.
But also that kind of brings into I really like just like Dr. Champs and Boho's Boho. I was reading at the Boho. Yeah. As BoJack's I like their interactions a lot. I really just like their bickering and their back and forth, like especially when he comes up the hill and he's like I thought you were leaving. He's like, oh, you would like that, wouldn't you? He's like, yes, I thought I made that very clear.
Yeah, I've been saying that.
And I really like that. But going back and then cutting to BoJack, or not BoJack, Mr. Peanut Butter being a sad dog.
Oh yeah, so the sad dog meme, which has to be a reference to the sad Keanu meme.
Yeah,
the second time we've referenced Keanu Reeves in this podcast.
Why not?
Perfect. It's his time.
If you guys are counting at home, ding,
yeah, ding,
ding. That's the second reference.
So yeah, that's we love an agent who like fakes a suicide attempt for her client to make everyone think that he's depressed.
He's a really sad dog, you guys.
Sad dog. Yeah.
I like Princess Carolyn staying up all night to make these memes too.
Yeah.
Good for her. She shows him to Ruthie. She's like, Ruthie, is this good? And she's like, I don't know, I'm a child. I'm an infant. And she's like, oh, thanks, Ruthie.
And it seems like kind of, like a commentary on like using mental illness in like a public way,
absolutely,
either, to get sympathy or to like excuse actions, because as soon as like everyone thinks that he has like that he has depression, they're like, oh no, I didn't know, like, we don't hate you anymore.
And that's like a very real thing. Like there's so many times where like there's other instances where it's like someone like, especially with the Me Too movement, where it's like a lot of women come forward like, oh, so and so like has been sexually assaulting me, and they're like, oh well, they have depression or they have this form of mental illness, and it's like it's used to excuse that, or other things like certain ableist terms or homophobic terms that they use or something.
Right. Yeah.
And they really do capitalize off it too, like, oh, you should support so and so because they're depressed. Whoops.
Right, it's kind of like, ugh.
Right, and especially with a show like BoJack that delves into so many mental illnesses too. And it's like this specific episode where they're talking about that with Mr. Peanut Butter, it's not a coincidence that in this same episode the other plot line is Diane struggling with her own depression.
Oh, for sure.
And struggling with her book. But yeah.
That's so true. And like that there are some instances where you can capitalize on that, but not, not very many.
Yeah, it's really like because I'm not saying whether like or not Mr. Peanut Butter is or isn't depressed. He might be depressed, but like it's really Mr. Peanut Butter, like how at least they're capitalizing off is like it definitely like the sexy depression they show you, and Diane's like the realistic depression, especially later on when she does go on her medication.
Right, it's not like...
It's not fun. It's gross. It's dirty. It feels like you can't do anything. Your house is full of pizza boxes and you've been in your pajamas for 5 days straight.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I really like that they've been like...
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
Yeah, and I really like that they're paralleling Mr. Peanut Butter's, like, not his own, but, like, how the media capitalizes off of it versus Diane's.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So then, Todd... was going to come to pick up BoJack from rehab, but he sends an assistant, like one of his assistants instead. Yeah. Which is kind of interesting because it shows like maybe he's still kind of, keeping BoJack
at arms, like.
Yeah. Because he doesn't want to completely go back to like how they were before, even though they're on more like friendly terms. Yeah. He's probably like, I can't get totally over involved in your life.
Yeah.
Again.
Which is like very valid of Todd to feel, honestly.
Yeah. So he's kind of doing what he has to do and still trying to help. Also, he just has a lot going on, so
yeah, he's very busy. He's a very busy guy, you guys.
A busy guy.
He has Ruthie.
Yeah.
Just brings Ruthie to rehab.
He has a baby.
He has a baby. It's not his own. Sometimes a family is a cat, her adopted porcupine, and the ace guy that babysits her.
Yeah. Does he still live with Princess Carolyn?
Yeah.
In her house?
Yeah, he sleeps on the couch.
He sleeps on the couch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he does. I love how he just moved from sleeping on one couch to another person's couch.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Todd has never had his own bedroom.
Yeah, he's like, I couldn't sleep on a bed if I tried at this point. It's just not comfortable.
Honestly, they should make a joke with that.
I feel like they might have.
They probably have.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Todd's like how the assistant is like, she said like, oh, Todd said you can treat me like shit and not feel bad about because you're paying me. Like that might also just be like a little like I don't even know if Todd meant to do that, but oof.
Yeah, like ooh, yikes. Yeah. So he still kind of sees BoJack as like,
yeah, exactly.
I don't totally trust you again. Yeah. Whereas if he had called like another friend, I mean, obviously he couldn't really have called Diane because she's moving, or Princess Carolyn because she's super busy.
Yeah.
Like crushing a strike.
Yeah. Well, wait, that was before the strike happened.
Oh, that's true. This
leads. BoJack's the reason they striked.
You're right. BoJack is the reason they strike. Well, she's very busy with everything, so he calls Todd.
Yeah.
And it's like
yeah. Which I mean, yeah, it's like it shows like.
Whereas his other friends like probably would have gone themselves. Like Todd, like send someone else.
Yeah, that makes me wonder if Todd wasn't doing like he didn't just get all these assistants if he would have gone or not, and maybe not, but I do like how him and BoJack are kind of growing back to like you said, not being like super close like before, but like they're at least interacting, and I think Todd appreciates that BoJack's growing. I think he appreciates that he's gone to rehab and that he's trying to change. But it is one of those situations
where he's like, it's already too late
for
me. Like he's like, eh.
You can appreciate someone changing for the better, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to go back to how it was.
Yeah, he's like, I don't have to give you like another chance or anything.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
That's how I would, I guess, see their relationship. So then there's the flashback with Sharona and Sarah Lynn, which is like after Herb has been fired, so like BoJack's addiction is really in like full force here, and he's feeling like really guilty about what he did to Herb, and then he just does like the same thing to Sharona, or some very similar thing, kind of like betrayal. So and also showing kind of the beginnings of like Sarah Lynn's addiction, which is very similar. I think we mentioned this in our last podcast.
Yeah, how he
like the similarity with
lets out the bottle.
Yeah, with what his parents did, where they left out the vodka and she tried some. Yeah.
I really like these scenes because there's such a feel of like us family on the set with Sharona and Sarah Lynn and BoJack.
Right.
And
sort of dysfunctional family.
Right, exactly. It's still a family, and you can tell Sarah Lynn's she's still looking up to BoJack and still kind of wants her to be like her, like not actual father, but she definitely sees like him as a father, and like not just her stage father. Especially with sure. like my stepdad's being weird. I don't want to go back there, and her hanging out with BoJack and asking her like, isn't it weird that Herb's gone and stuff? And then when BoJack in another like flashback when I don't know the new director's name, but he was like, you need to tell him when they asked where did she find this alcohol, it wasn't yours. That's a direct parallel to when he goes to prom with Penny's friends, and he's like, when they ask where'd you get this alcohol, you need to tell them where did you don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, kind of the tricks that he's
right, exactly. And just like how like how a lot of trauma that's forced onto BoJack he carries with him and he implements into other people. And it's like bad cycle.
Right, he just passes it along.
Right, exactly.
Passes it along.
But I really like that callback or parallel.
And then we talked about that. Well, back to rehab, he's getting kicked out and he almost drinks so that he can stay.
Right.
But then he's like, what am I doing? Which, I really like that because he was like, oh no, this isn't worth it. Even though he was like trying to be able to stay in this, like, safe place. He was more willing to, like, do something, like, scary than to...
Right. And, like...
Yeah, than to do that again.
BoJack a few years ago definitely would have just, like, wrecked himself so he could stay in rehab.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But, like, he actually makes a decision, which is really even the more upsetting thing, is that he makes a decision to throw this bottle that's both... like, actually keeping him back and symbolically keeping him back because it reminds him of Sarah Lynn's death, and he throws out the window away from him, and that leads him and Dr. Champ falling apart.
Yeah. Which is just like,
which is such a gut punch because he actually takes a step forward, but it just sends him back 5 steps.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and this whole plot line is, which goes into the next episode as well. Yeah. It's just like,
Dr. Champ drunk,
the major gut punch of the season.
It really is.
There has to be one somewhere, so.
It really is, but I really,
And I also just realized he's played from the guy who's in Veep. I forgot the character's name, but he probably finds it out. Actor's name is Sam Richardson.
Yeah.
What does he play in Veep?
I don't know. Are you actually Googling this right now?
It. I really just want to say for the people that care. What is the character?
He was born January 12th.
Richard Splett. He plays Richard Splett in Veep.
He's also an American, and he's in the upcoming movie Super Intelligent. He's 35 years old and from Detroit, Michigan.
Reading his Wikipedia page. Good for him. I like his character in Veep, and I kind of like thought his voice sounded really familiar, so I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
So
wait, and then we found out the guy who plays White
yeah,
Whale
we found this out retroactively, but the guy that plays a White Whale is Stephen Root, who plays Fuchs in Barry, and we are big fans of Barry. And he's in other stuff, but yeah.
He's in other stuff, but we really care about Barry.
We just care about Barry.
So that makes 2 characters that have been in Barry on BoJack. Because Henry Winkler was also in BoJack.
Oh yeah, Henry Winkler, of course. Yeah. Like, how could I forget? He played him. I love that cameo.
I like when I started watching Barry, and I was like, this character seems really familiar, or this guy seems really. You're like, he's been in everything, and I'm like, oh, and you're like, he was in BoJack, and I'm like, oh, it was definitely BoJack.
Right, because I was like, I mean, like, he was famous. In like the old stuff, like Happy Days, but I'm like, you might know him from like Parks and Rec. He was Jean-Ralphio's dad.
That's so fucking...
Yeah.
I know this and I love you. Yeah. You're right. That's so funny.
So I was like, I know you've seen him and stuff, but then I was like, and he played himself in BoJack.
So Henry Winkler, who is in Parks and Rec, you should probably cut this out later. Henry Winkler, who is in Parks and Rec, who co-starred with, who plays John Ralphio?
Oh, shoot. What is his name? I don't know his name.
Okay, well, that guy...
He's in this. Are you saying he's in the Sonic movie?
He plays Sonic. So, and Henry Winkler is also in Barry, which is directed and produced by Bill Hader, also co-starring Bill Hader. What I'm saying is Sonic and Bill Hader are like 3 degrees of separation from each other.
It's like, where on earth are you going with this?
And Bill Hader, who was in Stephen King's It Chapter 2, Sonic the Hedgehog is 4 connections away from Stephen King.
Wow.
James Grant,
we're just gonna keep going.
Who's in It Chapter 2, was also in Sinister, which I just watched.
That's just a fun fact.
That's just a fun fact about what I did this past week.
This week. Oh my gosh. Okay, episode 6. So the assistant strike is under full swing now.
Jenny has written, assistant strike. The city is burning.
The city is burning.
I don't know any of my passwords. What's my mother's maiden name?
I love, I don't remember his name, but the frog guy. I just remember
that Raphael plays.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were saying John Ralphio again, and I was like, wait, no. But yeah, Raphael Bob Loxford.
You know, the thing is, I was also thinking I was trying to say John Ralphio again, even though I knew I was saying really Raphael Bob Loxford.
Yeah, so he, the creator of BoJack, voices that character. I also always remember that his dad in, like, season 1, that character's dad was played by Stephen Colbert.
Oh, really?
Fun fact, yep. In a couple episodes.
Stephen Colbert, who was in Rick and
Stephen Colbert was in Rick and Morty.
He was. Which is another animated adult show about an alcoholic. So,
you were right.
So I really like this episode too. Like I was saying, because it connects back with the assistants on strike and Dr. Champ, of course, but I also really like Todd's storyline.
This is actually one of my favorite Todd storylines for like a few seasons. Yeah, like I haven't been that crazy about what like Todd's been doing, really ever since season 3, because I feel like he's been a little aimless, where he hasn't been really connected with like
with the main storyline.
With the main. Because he like broke up with BoJack, so he's not really involved in all that stuff anymore. So I'm just like, he would always be doing the B-roll stuff, and this is still very much a B-roll part for him.
It is, but
I like it because it's like, okay, we're learning something like new about Todd. It's kind of interesting.
Well, so the thing is, and I was talking to Jenny about this. So a while back, I noticed on Twitter somebody tweeted at Raphael and was like, how come Todd has Chavez as a last name, which is a Hispanic last name, but he's white and he's played by a white actor?
Yeah, same with Diane, too.
Oh, she's played by a white actress? Yeah. I mean, that's fair, but at least her character is actually of color.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
They don't...
I was never sure if Todd was actually supposed to be Hispanic.
See, that's what I figured, too.
Because I kind of thought he was.
Yeah, I kind of thought, maybe he's just... And, he's a white Hispanic.
And he doesn't... I mean, sure, he looks like... But he's, like, an animated character, so it's, like, how could... Like, you could look at the animated character and be like, he's Hispanic, and I'd be like, sure.
Right. Yeah, and that's fair. But the thing is, they could have even said that, but Raphael, like, came clean. He was like, honestly, we did not even notice that, like, or think of that when we first created this character. If we did it now, he would have... We would have cast some, and I think he even said in that tweet the same with Diane. But the thing is, I wasn't expecting them to even bring it in canon where he was like, Chavez is his stepdad's name, and they didn't just leave it at that either. They bring in how like Jorge, his stepdad, was like, I was hard on you because I had a hard life because of my race, because I have to work harder, but then I realized you're white.
Like, I should have realized you're white.
Right, which is
so funny.
It's funny, and also it's true because like. And Todd gets into these crazy predicaments, but he gets out okay.
And I really like this too because it is like a commentary on like everything that he's done for the past few seasons that like works out for him so well. Like he's always just been failing upward, and I think that's so funny to be like, it's because he's like white and everybody just kind of gives him the benefit of the doubt and like assumes that he's qualified for stuff. And
exactly.
It's so funny.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was really
And he
cool.
has no idea that this is his life too.
Right.
It's good. I liked this plot.
I did too. I really liked it.
And I liked Jorge, who I realize is played by the dad in Jane the Virgin, so we stan.
I don't know that show.
I feel like you would like Jane the Virgin. You should definitely watch like season 1.
Only season 1?
I mean, I haven't watched all of it.
Yeah.
But I think, like, it has a really solid start, at least.
Jenny, I feel like my life for the past 5 years has been you telling me to watch these certain shows, and I've been like, is it animated?
No,
and you've been like, no.
No.
Oh, no, of course it's no.
Of course it's not animated.
And then I'll be like, no, I probably won't watch. I will.
Barry.
I did watch Barry, and I almost finished Breaking Bad. Kinda.
You got to, like, season 2.
I finished season 2.
Okay, there's, like, 5 seasons that go off. You're, like, less than halfway through. It's almost finished.
The episodes are, like, an hour long.
I know, that's fine. No, it's fine.
It's a lot. It's really hard to pay attention.
Don't watch. Okay, that's
I will watch it. I will finish Breaking Bad, and then we'll do reviews for it. That's, like... 50 years after the series ended.
Like, hey, we're talking about Breaking Bad today.
It's topical.
How has it aged? Let's find out.
Has it aged?
Has it aged?
Who knows? Let's find out.
Anyway,
so but I like this storyline because it's also like, like I said, like Jorge realizes like, oh, well, I didn't realize your way. But he also like, I can see Jorge like because of that, like raising Todd a certain way, but I can also see Todd being like, why can't you just be happy for me, and why can't you see stuff from my perspective? Which is
I also really like on our second watch through, I noticed that Jorge says to him like, it's not my fault, or it is. It's my fault for expecting anything different from you. And I was like, oh, because that's the same thing that Todd said to BoJack. And that just got me, because it's like, ooh, that kind of like, you know, disappointed father thing that he just like pulled that card out on BoJack.
A weird flex of Todd, who's like at least 30 years younger than BoJack.
Yeah, he's like, I'm like 25 and I've been sleeping on your couch, not paying rent, but it's my fault for expecting anything different.
Yeah, and BoJack's like, geez.
But I actually really like that as kind of like showing maybe where he got that kind of side from or whatever. But anyway, and kind of like maybe like why Todd has like sought out like something of a supportive father figure in BoJack at the very beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Like, you know, BoJack will just let him do anything because he had sort of a strict, you know, father or something. It's so he's like, I just want to hang out all day and smoke weed and eat Pop-Tarts. And BoJack's like, right on.
Stick it to the man.
You're doing amazing, kid. And he's like, thanks, Dad.
What's kind of interesting is like when you bring that up, like how much, like, especially in the first season, how much BoJack wishes he had a family. And that's, like, that idea is carried on a lot through this series.
Yeah, that's, like, one of the major overarching
things for BoJack. It seems it's, like, how he never settled down and had a family, and yet he had a lot of options to be a father figure with Sarah Lynn, with Todd. And then he fucked Sarah Lynn, and he killed Sarah Lynn, and then he almost fucked Penny. And he fucked Todd over.
I know. Well, that's the thing. That's the
thing, Jenny.
He gets too close and he gets scared and he blows it up. Like, that's the whole thing, is he really wants that. And that's kind of what we get into at the end of this episode. Are we...
I spit on your jeans. I'm
it's
sorry.
Okay.
No,
you can spit on me. It's fine. I think we're at the point where we can talk about that in our notes, which is, you know, Dr. Champ like breaks down BoJack's problems with horses, which is kind of interesting. But I guess I just see it as sort of like a stand-in for what we were just talking about of like his problem with like a family like relationship. Was like he wants it and he's so like desperate for it, but he's afraid to be vulnerable and to like try that again because of how bad his relationship was with his parents, that he can't like let himself like do that.
Yeah, exactly. And he keeps them at arm's length. He pushes them away, or he does something terrible to completely push them away. I think the thing is too, it's like I feel like BoJack has been worried so much about becoming his parents that he just tumbles down and becomes his parents.
Oh yeah,
absolutely,
well, yeah. Isn't that how it always goes?
Isn't it how would it be like? But I think it was interesting how they brought up like a species distinction with it, because I feel like they've never really touched.
I know
on
that did seem a little bit out of like left field.
I feel like it fits.
It fits, but it's like, it seemed like very like a new way of looking at it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I feel like if anything, like the species thing has been like a stand-in for family. Like when he sees the herd of horses at the end of season 3, it kind of like feels like, oh, he wants like a family, he wants a place to belong. But to like, to say it's like specifically like a self-hatred of horses because of his relationship with his parents. That's interesting. Yeah,
and especially with like going off that, like the seahorse and Fish Out of Water too, which is like a great episode to pinpoint like how BoJack like just wanted a family.
I love the seahorse thing.
But also I really like the idea that like not only does he have this internalized self-hatred of horses, and he keeps pushing people away who could be like potential family, the idea that Hollyhock doesn't remind BoJack of his father, but reminds her of him specifically. I thought that was really interesting.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, and that like goes back to her fucking like that voice inside your head.
Yeah. Does that go away?
Does that go away? Like shit, man. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Right. I mean, they're very similar, and I mean, we'll talk about it and then the next one about the next 2 episodes, but there are a lot of similarities between Hollyhock and BoJack, even though they spent so far most of their lives apart from each other. They are like very, you know, connected, and
they are
the similar horseman family curse.
Well, that's the thing, is like I think it's like Beatrice says like you were what did she say? You were born sick. No, that's a Hosier lyric.
We were born sick.
And I love it.
It's when I can picture the scene. It's when he's in his trailer in the dark, and she's talking to him. Say? You were born
like you were
broken.
You were born broken. That's what it is. It is broken. It's broken.
You were born broken.
Well, the thing is too. It's like she's kind of right because alcoholism is.
Yeah, it's a genetic.
It's a genetic disorder for sure.
And we can definitely see that with Hollyhock having like the same kind of super complicated relationship with alcohol.
Yeah,
you know, and it doesn't matter who raised her, like it's still gonna be a part of her.
That's the thing, and it's like it makes you think like it's like I feel like BoJack is very scared for Hollyhock, and at the same time he's trying to keep her away. He's desperate to make sure she doesn't go down the same path he did.
Yeah.
But I really like Hollyhock as a character too. Love Hollyhock. And then BoJack has like a great line that's like because I'm famous, I'm never punished, so I act out even more.
Yeah, and that's like so much like I think what we're gonna see this season.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Is like that kind of thing where he wants to be punished, he wants to be held accountable,
right?
But he feels like because of his fame, you know, he never is. But I think that's going to change.
I think so, too.
I think because of our current culture and kind of the way that, you know, people can be under, like, a lot more scrutiny, like, because of their fame.
Yeah.
That's going to be changing for you, bud, so don't worry.
Don't worry,
Dr. Champ is like, you want me to Me Too you?
Yeah. You want me to start the hashtag? I can start it. No, I absolutely agree. And, like, it's just interesting. BoJack's such an interesting character because I feel like unlike a lot of characters that I'm gonna bring up Barry.
Yeah, do it.
Because Barry's whole thing is he wants a better life for himself, but he doesn't want to admit his mistakes really, and he wants to keep them in his past. BoJack, on the other hand, he wants someone to find out about his past. He wants responsibility. He does have this
kind of compulsive need.
Yeah, his compulsive need to be punished for it.
Right, because that's the only way he can like deal with it.
That's the only way he can really move on from it. Unlike and like Barry is like he very much
represses it.
He represses it and he tries to like act like it's starting over and like this is new starting now. This is new starting now. Like I just have to do one more bad thing and then I'm done and I'm over. BoJack on the other hand keeps doing bad things, but he realizes that and he realizes that he's tumbling down and he's like, I can't be forgiven for one bad thing. I need to be punished for every bad thing I've done.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah.
Then Princess Carolyn sees the light and joins the good side and calls in Judah to take over for the assistant strike. This was such a great moment.
This really was. I was not expecting Judah to come back. I really wasn't
for it.
I was too.
I don't know. Judah left like such an impression, and he wasn't around for all that long, but like a lot of fans I feel like really love Judah, so it was so exciting.
Now we just need Ralph to come back and then PC to have a poly relationship with Judah and Ralph.
You're right.
Sometimes a family is a pink cat, her adopted porcupine, her assistant Judah, her husband Rat. They're all dating, and also the ace guy that lives on her couch.
That's a family.
That's a family.
That's fine.
That's fine.
I love Judah. Oh my gosh.
I'm really happy.
Like that is still like I don't know, like one of the most heartbreaking like scenes for me is when she fires him because it's so understandable, but it still hurts so much.
Yeah.
Because he's such a good guy.
He's a really good character. I really like Judah.
He's also the actor who voices him is also in Veep.
Are you an IMDb page? Yeah. Jesus Christ.
No, I just know a lot of actors. Wait, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no, he is. Wait. Yeah, he's in Veep. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Okay, so. That was my page was buffering. Sorry.
I can see you thinking.
Okay, so the end of the episode, the gut punch.
The gut punch,
if you will. So so Dr. Champ gets really pissed,
obviously,
at BoJack, and kind of like it's kind of interesting because instead of like blaming himself, he just completely like externalizes it and it's like, this is all your fault, BoJack, and like you ruin people who care about you. I want you to remember this. I want you to remember what you did to me.
Yeah.
Which is as Rissa pointed out,
word for word almost what Herb says to him too.
Very,
yeah, and I didn't figure that out. Somebody else pointed that out to me on Tumblr actually, and I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah, because that's like, and it's kind of similar to like the way that he's like walking away and he's like, I want you to remember what you did to me.
But like the difference, like you mentioned, like BoJack kind of, and he talks about this more next episode, how he's like, it wasn't my fault.
Right.
Like,
it wasn't his fault. Like, Dr. Champ was wrong.
Right, and I think the thing is, like, BoJack realizes, yeah, okay, I brought contraband vodka into the rehab.
But not even with bad intentions.
Not with bad intentions. He
didn't bring it in. It was Jameson.
And he didn't intend for anybody to drink it.
Yeah, he was trying to throw it away.
Dr. Champ didn't have to drink it. He could have realized right away what it was. He didn't have to drink the whole bottle.
I know, like, what are you doing, dude?
Right, he didn't have to
tell immediately that it's not water. And it's like, like, that's really unfortunate, and like that sucks that you got an accidental, taste of alcohol that sent you down this path.
Right,
like,
but
that
also
sucks, but it's not BoJack's fault.
It's coincidental for sure. He has a part of it, but like, he didn't force him to drink.
Right.
And I think BoJack's realizing that, and him to be like, this isn't like Sarah Lynn. I didn't force him to drink. I didn't force the bottle into his hand.
Well, he didn't force, Sarah Lynn to drink either.
And he didn't. As
soon as I think what's really important about the Sarah Lynn thing was as soon as he called her, she ripped open her calendar and there was a bunch of vodka.
You're
she
absolutely
had drugs
correct.
all over her house. Like, she was...
You were absolutely correct.
She was barely clinging on to sobriety. Like, all she needed was, like, a little spark.
Right.
And the same with Dr.
And I think
Champ.
the same with Dr. Champ.
Like, I think that's all that, like, addicts need in general is, like, a spark. So it's like, can you really blame the person that gave them the spark?
And I think that's a conversation to be held. Yeah, can you blame the person who reignited that spark?
Yeah, especially, if it was on accident, definitely not.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think it does show a lot of growth for BoJack because if this was any other season, that would have been the fuck moment.
And he didn't, and I think that's so important is that, like, he didn't say, like he didn't say fuck to BoJack, which is, like, this sort of thing that signifies, like, the end of a relationship, but, like, specifically, like, because it's BoJack's fault.
Yeah.
And, like, that didn't happen here.
Yeah.
And it easily could have been that scene, but it not being that scene, like, does kind of signify how, like, different it is. And
exactly.
And the fact that Champ is wrong and that BoJack knows that he's wrong, which is really important.
Yeah.
I just love this scene as like, because it still hurts to watch. Like, it's still really painful to, like, watch this scene, but for a different reason. Like, most of the time when he's getting told off, it's like, it hurts because it's true. And this is, like, hurts because he doesn't deserve it. And, like, we've never really seen that. We've never really seen BoJack get a lot of like, shit that he doesn't deserve. Right.
The other thing, too, is, like, BoJack could have handled the situation in a lot of different ways. He could have dumped Dr. Champ right back out in front of Prestigious. He could have brought him to another bar. But instead, he brought him to another rehab center. He checked him in. Yep. And you can kind of see BoJack's kind of proud of himself.
He saw that he was at a bar. Yeah. He went in and he talked to him. And he didn't drink it all himself. Yeah. And, like, he really handled it, like, the best he could have. And he did, like, take responsibility, even though it was an accident. Like, he was like, I'm going to stay with you, even though I don't kind of want to.
Right. Well, and the thing is, like, when you watch the scene, BoJack's, like, smiling. He's like, a wise man once told me, like, you have to. Yeah. And he's like, but then as soon as Dr. Champ starts cussing him out, he's like, his smile fades. Yeah. And he's like, but he still holds true. He's like, I still think I'm doing the right thing. I still think I'm helping you.
And that's really important is that he now has this kind of, like, he has a sense that he is, like, a good person because, like, he knows that, like, he knows that he did the right thing. Like, he knows that he's helping someone. And just because someone, like, doesn't recognize it, like, isn't gonna take that away from him anymore.
Yeah, I agree. Because, like, because BoJack, like we were saying earlier, he's so dependent on people's acceptance and their approval of him that, like, when one person doesn't want it, because this goes directly back to Herb, where he, like, was like, you need to forgive me, you need to give me your blessing, and Herb is like, no, fuck your blessing, you need to get out, I will never forgive you, and you need to live with that.
Yeah.
And for BoJack to have...
Which at the time, that was the lesson he needed.
Exactly. Yeah. But now
he kind of needs the opposite.
He needs the opposite, where he's like, this isn't my fault. This isn't something I need to burden.
Like, I don't need your forgiveness because, like, you're wrong about me. Like, like, you're kind of right what you said about how, like, you ruined people who care about you.
Okay, that was right.
And it fucking sucks that Champ used everything he told him in therapy against him.
It really does. Like,
that's such a dick move. Like,
it is a dick move.
I like Dr. Champ because he is such a complicated character.
He is.
And, like, you see this other side of him that's so cruel, where he's like, I'm gonna use all of these things that my patient told me under confidentiality and therapy to now throw back in his face and say, you ruined people who care about you.
Right.
And you ruined me. Like, oh, fuck, man, that's mean.
Well, then you gotta remember, Dr. Champ's not technically a therapist. He's a horse therapist.
Okay, you're right.
You're
right.
Where's my Dr. Champ spinoff?
I know.
Give me the Dr. Champ spinoff.
And I like the really kind of... dark reference of, like, after what happened to my daughter and stuff, and it's like, ooh, like...
That's another thing is I just really love about BoJack is how they, like, casually slip in LGBT characters, like, so often. I love it so much. Like, how he just mentions a husband.
Mentions his husband. Yeah, I think that's... Yeah, I really like that about this show as well, that there's a lot of gay characters.
Like, not even, like, they just won't even slip it in the background. It'll be, like, right there. Like, the two lesbian wives from last season.
Yeah,
like,
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Oh, I always think about that.
Yeah, I love that. How it's just like, it's just a part of
they just slip it in.
Universe. It's as nice. It is in real life.
As it is in real life.
Some people are gay.
What?
What?
No, I forgot to mention this. It's bad, but I like how Dr. Champ is drunk. He takes, like, a slut shot, and then he, like, just puts...
I know. I love just the way that he moves and his, like, character design. I just think is very...
I really do, too.
Is very charming. I like his hair. He's just very cute.
He is.
His Birkenstocks and socks.
I love him so much.
Birkenstocks.
Another thing is, I feel like a really overused, like, GIF and image from BoJack is, like, within, like, season 1 at that same bar where he's, like... It's the same Pelican bartender, and BoJack is like, he's like, say when, and it's like pouring over the table, and BoJack's like, when. But it's like almost the exact same parallel, and he's just like, just a club soda. And Dr. Champ's like, nerd!
Yeah.
And I don't know, just like, that's another thing that just shows, like, because these are, like, it just shows how far BoJack's gone, because the thought of drinking's not even crossing his mind, or it doesn't even seem like it is. He can, like,
be at a bar and be around someone who's drunk and, like, not want to... want to drink, which is, like, good.
Well,
You've come far, dude.
Right. Because it's, like...
I believe in you.
And it's realistic, because he has that panic attack at the first party with Jameson in the first episode.
It's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy. And I kind of hope they kind of show, like, not slip-ups, but, like, more, like... anxiety with it at some point.
Yeah, I think there could be a slip up though.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that, I guess, in our predictions for next season, which will be at the end of next video.
Ooh, yeah. Last thing I wanted to say about this episode is the title. I really like the title because
which is what again?
So the kidney stays or something like the kidney stays
for episode 5, right?
No, I think. It's this episode.
Oh, it is this episode. Yeah, you're right.
The kidney stays in the picture because it's both referencing Todd's like little B plot with the kidney, and also, I think it's referencing BoJack's kidney because alcohol affects your kidney, right?
That's liver.
Fuck! Cut that out!
I loved how confident you were about that. Your kidney. You also have 2 kidneys.
Wait, why doesn't Todd give his other kid? Oh, he needs 1, I guess.
You need 1. Yeah, that's why you can donate. Need is 1. That's why you can donate a kidney is because you have 2 of them.
Why would God give you 2 kidneys?
Why, I don't know. Why do you have 2 lungs? Do you need 2 eyes?
Because you need both of those things. You need all 2 of those things. You could live without them, but it's easier if you have all of them.
I don't know, dude. We just have 2. Don't worry about it.
Why do you have... I was gonna go into this whole spiel on how how it's also reflective on how BoJack
I know, I was like, I really can't wait to hear what you're going to say about this. Wild. Well, I think that wraps it up for us. We will do one more video for this season about episodes 7 and 8, and then we'll spend probably an absurd amount of time talking about what we expect for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Until then, good night and good luck.